shit, guys. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness spoiler review, and I'm gonna hit the ground running because I just got out of the theater and my God, like I freaking loved this movie. Sam Raimi has brought such a breath of air to the Marvel universe. This is what I've been bitching about for years. The visuals, the score with Danny Elfman. I'm so glad they paired these two back together. The overall action sequences, like, yes. Is there a movie that was hacked and sliced? Because there is a couple scenes in the movie, like when Wanda and Strange are talking at the temple. I'm going to call it the temple. I know it's not called the temple, but they're talking and like, it just seems like an abrupt scene where there should be, I think there was more to that scene and more dialogue between the two. And then it's just like, no, we need to go. We need the action sequence to happen. And then there's other parts where you're like, maybe there was a couple cameos cut, maybe there was definitely, the reshoots did a lot, especially since this was supposed to happen before Spider-Man and No Way Home. And I do agree there maybe should have been some reshoots to benefit this movie that we're trying to do to make it a little bit more smoother, the scenes to maybe fit a little bit better. They fit. The scenes fit. There was one particular scene that caught my eye was when Wanda is so bloodied entering the Illuminati's like compound, right? And I'm like, how does she get that bloody? I mean, honestly, there's like, she's fighting ultra bots. I mean, I'm getting it. Maybe she like killed some people before she got there, but I feel like there was probably scenes where she was doing that. Maybe there were horrific scenes. When people are going to tell you that this movie is not a horror movie, it's not scary, that's not the idea. A horror movie could be more than just jump scares, which they did have, and a true gore fest. A scary horror movie is the horrific events that's happening that you're seeing. There is absolutely death scenes in here that are horrific. And the best horror movies are psychology, right? Or whatever, how you say it. I'm Mexican. I can't say it. Is when you leave the theater, you're always looking over your shoulder or you're disturbed by something and you're just really constantly thinking about it. There are scenes in this movie. I think everybody who absolutely Jim, right? John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. Boy, this is why sometimes you listen to the fan base because looked magnificent. This costume, it looked like the fan art, his beard. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I want to see, I don't care for the Fantastic Four. I don't care about the movies. But if I see just him, and even if they don't get Emily Blunt, I'm there. I'm buying my tickets in advance because just because Jim, I call him Jim, but John is Reed Richards. I'm on board. I want to see this guy, especially if he is like, if there's another Illuminati out there. But his death scene was like, I think everybody who absolutely loved him coming in because there was a nice cheer. And then his death was like, oh man, like they're not pulling any punches. That was a fantastic death scene. And that was a fantastic scene itself with him and Wanda talking about kids. And just the aspect to it, it makes so much sense. I think Wanda is hands down the best villain. She's the best villain, right? So going back to horror aspect genre thing, it's the horrific moments that happen in this film. It's the imagery. Sam Raimi is the legend of, with the Evil Dead. This is such a Sam Raimi film. And I loved every minute of it. I actually loved this movie. I think this is one of his best directorial big budget movies. I know the Spider-Man ones, he does a fantastic job, but Sam Raimi, just see where he's at of 2022. Phenomenal, man. I think it was an absolutely right choice to bring him as a director. He brought that Evil Dead-esque flavor to this film, and I thought it worked everywhere. I mean, you could say some things were corny or the battle between the two strangers towards the end, but I loved that scene. I ate it up. I thought that was amazing. The zombie Strange was done great. Like the multiverses they jump in, fantastic. Like And then so much shots with Wanda, and Wanda, him handling Wanda, and maybe not, I don't know if I'm assuming he watched WandaVision or anything like that, but him handling Wanda as a villain was cherry on top. He did so good with that character. She's so overpowered, but she's so memorable. She's so menacing. And I think he did a great job with Doctor Strange. I think, I think he had the Batman effect in this film where the Dark Knight, the Joker overshadowed Christian Bale's Batman, but Christian Bale's Batman was still really good and you really enjoyed what he was doing in that film. That's the same with Doctor Strange and Wanda. Wanda was the Joker and Benedict, unfortunately, was the second fiddle, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Sometimes you need that to happen to really make a movie kind of work, to really feel the presence of your villain. Your villain is, I think the villain is that chess piece that you need to protect at all costs. Going to Wanda, I think her motivation with the kids, and especially going back and, it's, you need to watch WandaVision. You need to watch, I say you would definitely have to kind of watch those to really get to get it, honestly. Like you could still watch this film, but I don't think you're going to get the emotional impact if you didn't follow the WandaVision series, maybe some of the episodes of What If. And then I think you should watch Doctor Strange, the first one, because it is a really well done film too. Wanda, though, the motivation with her kids and losing her kids, and this is 616. I believe that's what Rachel McAdams said. This is 616 world. This is the Wanda we've been following since the second Avengers movie, The Age of Ultron, and we've gone through her, such a troubled past, being experimented, her brother, her kids, Vision, and just seeing her become, early on in the film, took me back. I love to be surprised sometimes, and that one was a big surprise. The trailers really make you think one way, and they, just like Endgame, they threw you for a loop. This whole plot, she was a baddie from the beginning. She was already embracing that darkness in her. She was an illusion of, in the trailer, where like it's nice and little apple things and stuff. No. She is the witch. She is unhinged. Her mental stability is far gone. It is out of here. And when Strange goes to try to recruit her to help this, or American Chavez, I said, nope, she's after Chavez. So that threw me, like, this is like the first act. This is our introduction to our villain. And I thought she was I thought that was a fantastic idea, because we are emotionally invested. If you followed all that stuff, right? If you followed Wanda's character and you loved her, because that everybody talks about the scene in Infinity War and how powerful she is, but the love she had for Vision, for her kids, and everything being taken away. And then seeing this version of Wanda, it is heartbreaking. At the end of the film, when she sacrifices herself and she gets rid of all those the Darkhold kind of books, manuscripts, whatever, she just eliminates all of them in the universe. Seeing her, and at first I'm like, she's gonna come back, but you know what? I don't know if this version will come back. We might get the other version or some other versions in the multiverse. Something might happen, but this version seems like that was the end, and just the depression that came over me, because as much, it's so refreshing to see a villain and know her history, know what she's gone through, and not only to be heartbroken because she's doing evil things, she's killing people, she's going against allies she fought with. I wouldn't say her and Strange are friends, but allies. And to see this and to see her downfall, it's like a TV series, man. It's absolutely like a TV series where you see like Walter White from the beginning and Walter White at the end. You can't help but sympathize and care for their demise as much as you know it's needed. This was Wanda in the film. Now, do I think she needed maybe another motivation in the film? Because she had her kids, which that's the true motivation. It makes somewhat sense. Okay, you just think like Wanda just wouldn't do this, the earlier Wandas, but Wanda's so broken at this point. Then you start leaning like, yeah, Wanda's kind of unhinged and she's out of it. The Professor X scene is to relay the message that The real Wanda is gone. She has been taken over. She's gone in too deep. After WandaVision, that Wanda's gone. I did think she maybe needed that other motivation, which was the Vision. I think the cameos worked absolutely right in this film. I just think that they needed a couple more, and I'll talk about the one I thought was really needed, but the Vision one was definitely needed. Vision didn't necessarily need to be a cameo, but I think he needed to be part of this film. Because I was thinking the whole time, why isn't Wanda mentioning Vision? Yes, I know her love for her kids, but her love for Vision was just as strong. So I know we're going to see Vision later on down the road. Vision was not in this film, and I'm pretty sure he probably was maybe in the early drafts. But Vision was needed in this film. I think another kind of motivation was maybe either Vision or just because there was a little missing piece of that. But overall, if I kind of like forgot about Vision and saw the core of it all and her kids and really just going batshit crazy, I loved it, man. I thought it was great. Fantastic. So Doctor Strange. A lot of people or a lot of reviews I've heard said that Doctor Strange is kind of, like I said, he is the Batman to the Dark Knight, but a lot of people didn't like his kind of overall arc and overall what they were the message they were trying to convey, especially with his relationship with Christine. If you watch the What If episode, the best episodes in there was Doctor Strange. So you kind of understand more of that relationship. The problem with the first one is we didn't really get it just didn't really work as much as we wanted to. And then after that, you really don't see Christine at all. So I actually did dig a lot of that kind of relationship, especially towards the end and the Illuminati version. I liked it. I thought it was good. I think it could have handled it a little bit better, but I didn't think Rachel McAdams was wasted. She did contribute in the film. She contributed towards the end. She did relay a message to Steven. And Steven, this is why Steven was the best version out of all of them, because he really kind of got the message. So that was why Christine was in this film, and I didn't think they wasted her talents. I think Sam Raimi towards the end where she protects Strange, and it really reminded me a lot of Constantine, Hellblazer a little bit. The relationship was good. It was there, and I did enjoy it. What I really liked about Strange though was just Benedict Cumberbatch is so great. He's such a phenomenal actor. But what I really liked was just, I really enjoyed Strange. He is a dick. He is like kind of like a Tony Stark, but like maybe not as rash. But seeing all the other Strange and seeing why the Illuminati didn't trust this, any of the Strange or their particular Strange too, you kind of understood. And I really liked that Cumberbatch was like kind of like really protecting Chavez. Sympathy a little bit towards Wanda, especially towards the end where he kind of sees her sacrifice herself. And I did like the fact that Strange wasn't like as powerful as Wanda, because if you're going to have this movie, if you have your protagonist already super strong, which I think he's stronger than that. I think in Infinity War, he seemed like he was much stronger than the version he was at, but he still has a lot to learn. He is not the Sorcerer Supreme, and I like that he's not too OP at this point, but he will be. He still has a little bit of things to learn. He learned a life lesson in this movie, so I think Strange was great. The one thing I didn't really care for was the relationship between Strange and Chavez. I think those two maybe needed a little bit more scenes together, a little bit more well-written scenes. The memory thing where they show the memory, I didn't care for that. It was to show Chavez's backstory, but then I was just kind of thinking like, are they gonna like pay for that memory yet? Or like, what if somebody was like stood on there and their memory was like murdering somebody? Or if somebody sees that, are they gonna arrest them? Like, it's strange, right? That was a very strange scene. I think we could have used another scene to convey maybe her backstory and to really get that relationship home. The actress who plays Chavez, good. Not great. I didn't think she was fantastic. I think she was good. I like her power set. I like her punching and then this big old star, and she's able to walk multiverse. She's a very cool character, very cool powers. I like the look. It really kind of reminds me, it's funny, they played Thor Love and Thunder, but her outfit kind of reminds me of Thor and or something that Chris Pratt would recognize in like, these 80s, really 80s rockish. So I did like her power set. I like the idea of this character. I just think the actress was fine. She was good. I don't think her and Strange's relationship really clicked all that much. I really love the beginning. Here's the thing I like about Strange. I don't think a lot of people are going to pick up on this. Is I really love the beginning where that Strange and Strange always has, he's not spitting out nonsense. He is saying what he needs to. You understand why he's doing the things he does. I really love that the Strange that we see in the beginning with Chavez, who betrays her, and he ends up dying and he ends up becoming a zombie at the end. He gets redeemed. That body is still the same as the Strange that, betrayed Chavez, and Chavez really trusted him, and to be betrayed like that. So that Strange even gets a redemption arc, right? He gets a redemption at the end because that's the body, even though it's not the presence of this Strange, like his soul is gone. It's kind of, I find it pretty awesome that, hey, this Strange used the one that was bad, technically is him, to redeem that Strange and the Strange, that's working the body. So, and that scene was fantastic, man. The ghouls and all that stuff. The Illuminati scene, man. Jim, oh my God, Jim is fantastic. I think everybody's going to be talking about that. Black Bolt was awesome, and I think that's the same actors who played Black Bolt in the Human show, which is trash. That death scene was money, man, because I didn't really realize it, but when his brains explode, I really love the thought that so that brain, all that head, that's what she said, is in the mask, and you just see it just wobbling everywhere, and then he goes down. Oh my God, it was the imagery and the scene itself, fantastic. We're going to talk about the scenes in this movie because so when Jim's death was horrific, I loved it. The only one, so we have Captain Carter, right? Peggy. We saw her in What If. I actually thought it would have looked 10 times better than when I saw it. Her live action version, I thought it just would have been done better. Her with the rocket, it looked very clanky, clunky. If I had to change anything, I would change that. I would change maybe the choreography a little bit better for Peggy. The suit looked good. Was it Atwell? Seeing her when she was sitting down and talking, she looked absolutely stunning, gorgeous. And I do like the idea of her in, maybe having a solo flick or something like that, or at least a Disney Plus. I think that should be a Disney Plus series, but a live action one at least. But I didn't think it necessarily looked too great in the film. I just felt like when seeing her in What If, that it would be amazing on the big screen, live action, but I just didn't think it would work too well on here. Another one too was I think it was Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel, that version of Captain Marvel. No disrespect to Rambeau. I think because the bad taste of the Captain Marvel film, I really don't like Brie Larson and Rambeau. It makes sense if, was that Monica? I think that was Monica. It makes sense if, with Monica facing Wanda again, especially since she let her go. That makes sense. I think it should have been hammered home a little bit, maybe a couple lines with Wanda talking about Rambeau and stuff. It was interesting. There was no dialogue at all. And I get the situation and everybody knows the situation, but come on, you could have done something there. The problem I have with Rambeau is I don't necessarily, either her or Peggy shouldn't be on the council. I think we absolutely, with all the rumors and everything, I think we absolutely needed Tom Cruise's superior Iron Man. You could hate him, love him, but I think it would have been really cool because he was originally supposed to be Iron Man, and then Robert Downey Jr. took the job. And then same with John, was supposed to be Cap, I believe. Yeah, Cap. He's Mr. Fantastic. So bringing Tom as Iron Man, and he is a star. He is a mega star. Bringing him in as Iron Man, I think that would have been a trip, man. And I think if not Tom, somebody, because I think you're missing the Illuminati. It makes sense. I love I think you can keep everybody, but you needed to bring a version of Tony because Tony has to be in that group, right? He has to be in any group. And as much if you don't like Tony or Iron Man, you're sick of him, but it just makes more sense that Tony would be there. So I love the addition to Professor X. I love the X-Men animated series. Little theme they teased us. Getting my nostalgia right there. Getting my nostalgia, but it worked. It worked for me. His entry was kind of funny though, because it's like this big ass yellow, moving chair. But I thought Patrick Stewart, I do think they nerfed him a little bit. He ties once again. I think, but I saw a little bit of the Patrick Stewart that was in Logan, that was in any X-Men movies, when he was talking to Doctor Strange and he was saying, you need to go do this and you need to protect the girl. That was my Professor X that I've grown up with in a live action. So I did get that. And you know what? I do think Xavier's more stronger than that, especially when he's like sustaining the Phoenix, in Jean. But I did like the death scene. I did really enjoy the death scene. I just kind of wish it stretched out a little bit more, which we're going to talk. So a lot of people say this movie should have been 3 hours long, 2.5 hours long. This should have been longer. I think people are saying that because they were expecting more cameos, more maybe crazier scenes, more dialogue between characters. Like I said, there was a couple times where I thought a scene maybe could have stretched out a little bit more, or you could see the obvious cut. I'm going to say though, this movie didn't need to be longer. For what they presented and seeing the context of it all and seeing from beginning to end and how the movie was flowing, which it was flowing really good until it does hit, I think when Strange and Chavez are kind of like in this other multiverse, I think it slows down and then it picks right up. I think one of the great scenes is when they are getting chased by Wanda, and it's just like this Terminator type scene, and it's amazing, and the cinematography and like I said, horror doesn't necessarily have to be gore and all that stuff. When you have lighting like that and you have the contents of the scene, the chase sequence, and how everything's played out, the music swirling, that's a horror scene. So I really love that, especially the scene also the first time she chases them and she kills everybody on Strange's and Wong's compound. Wong MVP, by the way. So that's another horror scene as well. When she's using a lot of she's in the Mirrorverse. The Mirrorverse that scene was amazing. Her coming out of it too. But going back, the flow of it, right? The flow, it does hit one little spot where it kind of slows down, then it kind of picks back up. I think that was like kind of the only spot I'm like, okay, I would like, maybe change. And that was one of my gripes, was like, I would have changed maybe her backstory scene and maybe done something different. And there was some different things I would have done different. Like Captain Carter's death scene was not as unique as I wanted it to be. I know Sam Raimi loves the little close-up shots after something happens, but I just think a different camera angle would have worked on that scene if he was going to do that. But I think, honestly, he could have created something a lot better than that death scene. And even Monica Rambeau. I think Rambeau's death scene could have been a little bit more unique. I think Professor X's death was more, I've seen it kind of before in other media, but it really fit, especially with the void that he was in and trying to get the real Wanda out, but it was just too late. And I think in a TV, I like how in a TV, I think it was showcasing WandaVision a little bit. At one point they do, I think it was the What If universe when they're jumping through different universes. I really just enjoyed myself. Like I got this big popcorn. I didn't even really eat all of it. I had red ramen before, but I got this big popcorn. Just enjoy. This was a popcorn flick, but it was a well-crafted popcorn flick. I think Wong was really good. I love Wong and Strange's relationship. I think that's a really strong relationship right there. I actually think they need more scenes on there. But going back to like, should this movie be longer? I don't think so. With the movie that was presented, I think it was perfect. I had me included, 5 people got up and they rushed to the bathroom once when those were going into the credits. So I don't think it needed to be longer. I think if you take away the spectacle that everybody was expecting, if you take away a lot of the cameos people thought that we're going to have, and you just really focus on this story and going from multiverse to strange to multiverses in like towards the middle, and then you're having this nice little climactic battle of inner Wanda. Wanda really kind of destroys herself, but also Strange still trying. The best thing about a hero is trying. And Strange, even though he was getting his ass kicked throughout the film, he still tried to save Chavez. Even though it might amount to nothing, that's what a hero does. That's the definition of a hero. So I don't think this movie needed to be long. It should be longer if they were planning on maybe stretching out scenes here and there, or just putting in a lot more cameos. But I didn't need the cameos. Honestly, this is another giant step to maybe a Secret Wars, maybe to a multiverse war kind of deal, where we do get back a lot of different kind of versions here and there, and then maybe see, maybe Fantastic Four is in a different multiverse, and this big war they have to do, especially with King, they got to bring that Fantastic Four to this everybody's going to work together, right? So really good. I loved it, man. I'm going to speak more of it on our podcast that we're going to do, me, Chase, and Albert, but I loved it. I cannot praise it enough. I'm going to go watch it again. I think I had more fun as a movie, as a whole movie, than No Way Home. But No Way Home, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and that's just a love letter to Spider-Man. And that's a well-crafted movie too. And I would love for Sam Raimi to maybe even do a Into the Spider-Verse live adaptation, a Secret Spider Wars. So that would be awesome. But for what he did here, bravo, Sam. And I know that a lot of, reviews are going to kind of clown on this movie, but this is great, man. I don't know what they're seeing. I loved it. As the harshest critic you're ever going to meet, I loved it. It was fantastic. So, like I always say, guys, grab your tick, grab a seat. Make sure you got some good popcorn to eat. I'll see you at the cinema.